Let's get right into it. Number 9. Kale. Kale was literally Pizza Hut's trash before becoming Hollywood's favorite superfood. Back in the 90s, Pizza Hut was America's biggest buyer of kale, but they weren't serving it to customers. They were using it as decoration in their salad bars. The same leaf that people now pay $12 for in a smoothie was just there to make the ranch dressing look prettier. Most of it ended up in the trash at the end of the day. Then in the early 2010s, health food bloggers discovered this cheap garnish was packed with nutrients. Suddenly, kale wasn't just decoration, it was a superfood. The price of kale shot up by 25% in just 1 year. Everyone started putting kale in everything. Kale smoothies, kale chips, kale face masks, even kale wedding bouquets became a thing. Farmers who had been practically giving kale away for years became vegetable celebrities overnight. Today, organic kale costs up to $5 per bunch. That's a 500% increase from its garnish days. The same vegetable that was Pizza Hut's trash now sells as a premium superfood in $15 salads. Number 8. Oxtail. The story of how rich people turned literal cowtails into gold. Back in the day, oxtail was what butchers gave away for free. It was the meat version of that ugly chair your neighbor puts on the curb with a free sign. Slaves and servants would get these bony bits because the rich folks thought they were worthless, but those worthless pieces had more flavor than a gossip column at a country club. The secret is collagen. These tails are packed with it, and when you cook them slow, that collagen melts into liquid gold. People who couldn't afford fancy cuts figured this out centuries ago. They'd slow cook these tails until the meat fell off the bone, creating incredible stews. Then some fancy chef probably got lost, wandered into the wrong part of town, and tasted real oxtail stew. These chefs started putting oxtail on their menus. Now, the same cut that butchers couldn't give away costs more than some steaks. We're talking a 400% price increase in the last decade alone. The people who've been cooking oxtail for generations are watching prices skyrocket. It's like their grandma's secret recipe got leaked to Gordon Ramsay's Instagram. Number 7. Oysters. In 1800s New York, instead of hot dog stands, you'd see oyster carts everywhere. These slimy little guys were basically the hot dogs of their time. They were so cheap and common that people would toss the shells on the street when they were done. Some of New York's streets were literally paved with crushed oyster shells. Pearl Street got its name because it was paved with pearly oyster shells. Restaurants would offer all-you-can-eat oysters for the price of a beer. Prisoners complained about being fed too many oysters. It's like complaining about being served too much caviar in prison today. As cities grew bigger, they started dumping more sewage into the water. The oysters, being nature's water filters, started soaking up all that nastiness. Eating an oyster became like playing Russian roulette with your stomach. Rich folks started paying extra for oysters from clean waters. And just like that, oysters went from being poor man's protein to fancy people food. Today you might pay $5 for a single oyster at a fancy restaurant. Number 6. Tinned fish. Back in the day, a can of sardines would cost you less than $1. It was poor people food, emergency food, apocalypse prepper food. Then influencers started doing tinned fish date nights on TikTok. Everyone started arranging fancy little fish from Spain and Portugal on wooden boards, calling them sea cutery. The same sardines your grandma bought for 89 cents are now being sold for $15 a tin. They're not even calling them sardines anymore. Now they're vintage-caught Mediterranean silver swimmers in extra virgin olive oil with hand-harvested sea salt. These new fancy tins come with their own Instagram accounts and origin stories. These anchovies were caught by Juan, a third-generation fisherman, who only fishes during full moons while whistling traditional Spanish lullabies. Specialty shops are popping up that only sell expensive tinned fish. Mackerel, once the cheapest fish you could buy, now comes in gold-trimmed tins for $20. There are even tinned fish subscription boxes where people pay $50 a month to get fancy fish in the mail. Number 5. Old pickup trucks. Those beat-up workhorses that farmers used to haul hay and construction workers used to carry tools are now luxury items. That rusty 1970s Ford that your grandpa bought for $2,000 could sell for more than a new Mercedes. People are actually paying extra for fake rust. Companies will take a perfectly good vintage truck and deliberately make it look beaten up. They'll even add artificial dents and scratches because apparently nothing says I'm wealthy like driving something that looks like it lost a fight with a tornado. What's crazy is that actual working trucks with real dents and real rust are still cheap, but the moment someone adds the words artisanal patina to the description, suddenly it's worth more than your house. Some of these restored trucks don't even have air conditioning because that wouldn't be authentic. Silicon Valley executives are sweating in 90-degree weather because their $150,000 truck is too authentic to have modern conveniences. Most of these trucks never haul anything heavier than a Whole Foods shopping bag. The bed of the truck, designed to carry lumber and livestock, now mainly carries organic kale and designer dog food. Number 4. Caviar. In the 1800s, American bars were giving away caviar like they give away peanuts today. The same caviar that now costs $200 an ounce was completely free. America's rivers used to be packed with sturgeon. These prehistoric-looking fish were so common, fishermen considered them a nuisance. They'd catch them by accident while trying to get more valuable fish. The Hudson River had so many sturgeon, people called it Albany beef. You could feed an entire family with sturgeon meat for pennies, and the eggs were practically worthless. Bars served bowls of salty caviar for free because salty food makes customers thirsty, and thirsty customers buy more drinks. Then European aristocrats discovered American caviar. The rich started throwing caviar parties. Fancy restaurants began serving it on tiny pieces of toast. The price started climbing rapidly. The demand led to devastating overfishing. Fishermen would catch pregnant sturgeon, slice them open for their eggs, and throw the dead fish back. By the 1900s, sturgeon populations had crashed. A fish that had survived since the time of dinosaurs was nearly wiped out. Today, most sturgeon are endangered. That's why a tiny spoonful of caviar can cost more than your monthly grocery bill. Number 3. Bluefin Tuna. Back in the 1970s, these massive fish were considered such garbage that people literally fed them to their cats. That's right, your grandpa's cat was eating what's now worth more than your car. Then rich folks in Japan discovered that this trash fish actually made for some fancy sushi. In 2019, a single bluefin tuna sold for $3.1 million in Tokyo. That's like paying for a luxury mansion, but instead, getting one fish. The same fish that was once dumped into cat food cans now sells for around $200 per pound in restaurants. Imagine paying your rent just to eat something your grandma wouldn't even touch. These fish are now so rare that there are actual tuna cartels. They're like drug lords, but instead of cocaine, they're smuggling fancy fish. The bluefin population has dropped by 97% since the 1960s. That means for every 100 tuna swimming around back then, there are only 3 left today. Number 2. Collectible sneakers. Back in the 1980s, sneakers were just sneakers. You'd buy them at the mall for $30, wear them until they fell apart, then buy new ones. But then rich people discovered they could make money from your childhood memories. Those beat-up Air Jordans you threw away as a kid? Someone just sold a pair for $615,000 at auction. You could have bought a house with your old shoes. The buyer will never wear them. They'll just sit in a temperature-controlled room, like some kind of holy relic. Sneakers have become the new fine art. Instead of hanging a Picasso on your wall, you're displaying shoes in a glass case. There's a whole underground market of fake sneakers. There are sneaker authenticators now. That's a real job. Someone who spends their day checking if shoes are real or fake. They make more money than most teachers. Most of these super expensive sneakers were originally made in the same factories as the cheap ones. Same materials, same workers, same everything. The only difference is some rich guy decided this particular combination of rubber and fabric was worth more than your car. There are now sneaker investment funds. Instead of buying stocks or bonds, people are buying shares in shoes. It's like Wall Street met Foot Locker and had a really expensive baby. Number 1. Volkswagen camper vans. The Volkswagen bus started life as a cheap utility vehicle in post-war Germany. It was literally designed to haul stuff around factories. Then hippies discovered you could live in them. You could pick one up for a few $100, which was perfect if your life savings was whatever fell out of your jeans in the washing machine. These vans were like the original tiny homes, except you didn't need a trust fund to buy one. Jump to the present, and these same rusty tin cans are selling for 6 figures. The vehicle specifically designed for people who were too poor to afford a real house now costs more than a real house. A pristine 23-window Volkswagen Samba bus sold for $302,500 at auction. That's enough money to buy an actual apartment building in some places. Rich people aren't even living in them anymore. They're buying them as investments. Some wealthy collectors are even hoarding these things like their Pokemon cards. A vehicle that was once a symbol of rejecting materialism is now the ultimate status symbol. If you've got an old Volkswagen bus rusting away in your backyard, you're sitting on a gold mine. That is, assuming you can afford the $100,000 restoration bill. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.